I love epic moments as much as the next guy. Gandalf fighting the Balrog, Frodo tossing the ring to Mount Doom, the battle for the three armies. There's so many great epic moments in fantasy stories. So why is it that when I try to create an epic moment in D&D, it either falls flat or feels forced? From a storytelling standpoint, epic moments feel rewarding for a few reasons. Number one, the buildup. Number two, the tension. And number three, the resolution. These three elements, the buildup, the tension, and the resolution, have to feel satisfying, gratifying. When we watch or read stories, there's a natural buildup and a natural tension that comes. We want to see the heroes succeed. We want to see that moment of epicness where we know, wow, they did the thing that was really, really cool. Buildup, tension, and resolution. These three things are kind of the recipe for a good epic moment. They are satisfying, they are rewarding, and I'm going to tell you in this video why you should probably not be trying to incorporate them into your game. When you're running a tabletop RPG, build-up can be really tricky to manage. You see, players tend to want to do their own thing. They've got their own ideas for what makes a moment cool, or maybe they just have their own ideas for what they want to do with the character in the story. And if your build-up idea, right, you're laying the groundwork, doesn't really jive with what they want to do, they'll probably just ignore it. And if they're going to ignore what you have in mind, then you're probably not going to get much value out of trying to incorporate build-up into your storytelling. Let's look at tension real quick. Tension happens when we see things that make us feel like there's danger or a threat, either to the life of our character or to NPCs that we really value and enjoy. In storytelling, it's really hard to build tension, especially before you've started playing the game, if you don't know what your player's characters value. To that end, trying to just naturally build tension into the plot is very tricky on its own, and makes it difficult for the last portion to really send off and succeed. And of course, that last part, it's resolution. See, once you've had your build-up and your tension, you need to find a satisfying way for it to all resolve to build this epic moment. Unfortunately, that's kind of tricky to do when you're not sure if the build-up's going to be successful or worth it for the players to be interested in. If the tension's going to be something that they're going to want to enjoy experiencing, or if they're even going to find tension in it, right? They might not care about the NPCs, they might not care about the world, so there's a lot of different things that could come into play. And so, if those two first parts fall flat, your resolution's not going to land. And that epic moment you've been planning for is going to feel really bad. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how you can build some really cool and really natural epic moments without having to do all the work of trying to plan it out ahead of time. And I'll give you an extra secret tip at the very end of the video when it comes to these three things, build up, tension, and resolution, that might help you make it actually useful in your games. Players are going to naturally try to attempt to make epic moments. And if you pay attention, and if you watch and you listen to what they're saying and how they're playing the game, you'll begin to see what natural build-up, tension, and resolution will look like for your players. Players might decide that they've taken an interest to a particular NPC that you didn't like, or didn't even write. This might be an NPC that just showed up that they're in love with. Some random goblin, some random shopkeeper. Keep notes and keep track of who those characters are, because those characters can become tension points. That way you can naturally build in your epic moments for the players to enjoy and experience. These are really good. We like to be able to see what the players are enjoying and what they're having fun with. That way we can attempt to snatch it out from underneath them and, give them a little bit of a fright or a fear. It really helps in building up these epic moments. The moment where they can come in, swoop in as the giant hero and save the day, or fail horribly and lead into a wonderful retribution arc for the players. These sorts of things happen naturally. And if we're paying attention, as any good DM should, we should be able to naturally find and enable our players when it comes to building epic moments. So, first things first, keep an eye out. Be listening, be watching, and be aware of what your players value, right? Your build-up might not be what you were expecting it to be. In some cases, build-up can happen very quickly. and tension might be the result of an instantaneous moment. I like to give my players, I like to make it feel like there's some tension and some threat. So I'm like, quick, what do you want to do? You see the train coming towards you. You've got no time at all. Your character's at the very top of this building. What do you want to do? And sometimes the players will surprise you. They'll tell you that they want to jump out of the building. They want to attempt to try to latch on to another building. They want to use a grappling hook or an improvised grappling hook. I've found that letting the players come up with their own epic moments or their own unique elements is a lot more enjoyable, right? They might ask you, like, hey, are there any parachutes nearby or a pickaxe nearby? And you're like, a pickaxe, why would you want a pickaxe? Sure, you can have a pickaxe nearby. It doesn't ever hurt to say yes to a player asking for these dumb things. And then maybe he wants to use it to like hack onto the side of the building and slow his fall as he like drops out of the window. Weird, but for him, that might be a really cool epic moment. And we want to enable that. As a game master, it's important that we're keeping our eyes on what the players are doing, that we have an idea of what they like, what they value, what's going to cause tension for them, and what feels like a fun or exciting moment for them to be able to be engaged with or be able to experience. Okay, so we understand that concept, right? We know that we should be giving the players these chances to perform epic actions. And especially if we reward players for trying to do epic things, we're gonna get epic things. That's just how it works. If a player is like, hey, I wanna do this thing, and we might not have thought about it, right? It might not have even been something we had had on the table. We're thinking, oh, this is gonna be a simple fight against like 5 goblins and we'll move on. But a player's like, hey, I want to actually like flip this table and try to like drop kick it into one of the goblins. Can I do that? I like to reward that. I've found that rewarding interesting and epic moments amongst what the players do goes a lot farther than trying to stop them or telling them no. Giving them that, yeah, sure, go ahead, and maybe even giving them an advantage for doing so because it's surprising, or giving them a small boost to it, or making it a little bit of an easier check, tends to only help the players to want to make epic moments happen more and naturally. If you want to have a game that feels more like Lord of the Rings than Monty Python's Holy Grail, you really want to make sure that you're rewarding your players for chasing these epic moments naturally and on their own. By enabling your players to do such things, you're going to find that, well, they're going to want to be looking for them as well. And if they're looking for the epic moments, that takes a little bit more work off of you. And at the end of the day, we, as game masters, want as little work as possible in our court, and we want to just be able to sit back and enable the players to do their thing. At least that's how I tend to operate. In trying to enable players, and in understanding that build-up, tension, and resolution are important, and that keeping an eye on what the players are doing is important, and enabling the players is important, does that mean I have to stop chasing epic moments entirely when I write my D&D games? Well, the title of the video would tell you that, yeah, you should, but realistically, no, you don't have to. You just need to be aware of what your table and what your players want before you start writing them. A lot of people begin writing, especially new DMs, begin writing Dungeons and Dragons games or Genesys games or Call of Cthulhu games with an idea of something epic happening as the end goal, right? They summon Cthulhu, they fight Tiamat, right? Whatever it is, they've got this end epic goal in mind. But if your players aren't on the same page, it's going to be very hard to finally get to that epic moment. Instead, I would encourage, especially new DMs, to keep an eye on your players, to note down what they're doing, what they're enjoying, and to ask them before you even start running the game. And heck, if you're watching this video midway through a campaign and you feel like you're struggling, ask them midway through, hey, what do you guys want, right? What would you guys like to see more of? It doesn't hurt if you want to, at the end of a game, just sit down with the players and say, hey, before you guys leave, what's some things you'd like to see more of? Do you want to see more roleplay? Do you want to see more combat? What would you like to have your characters experience? Because you're also not the only one telling the story. And I hate to say it, but we can cheat. We can ask the players. We can say, hey, what do you want? And then we can do that. There's no rule against that. So if the players are like, yeah, we actually really want to fight like a 5,000 strong undead army, or a giant goblin that's 100 feet tall, you can do that. Like, there's nothing that says, hey, well, you know, I can't let the players get that cool experience that they're looking forward to. And I found that when you do ask them, and you do see what it is that they want to have, and what they want to experience at the table as well, suddenly now you're opening up a whole new door. See, you don't have to do all the work anymore. You can say, oh, cool, they want to do that? Great, I don't have to worry about thinking it up. I don't have to worry about coming up with the ideas or whatever. You can use what they've said, and then naturally try to incorporate it into your story or your plot. One of the biggest jobs we have as the Dungeon Master is to enable fun at the table. Sure, the players are going to add a lot to that, and some players will make the game more or less fun. But at the end of the day, you choosing to say yes and give them fun and epic moments naturally is something only you can do. I hope this video has been helpful. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to put a link in the description below to a Discord that I'm hoping to fill up with some people. That way we can talk and chat about different D&D and Genesys or Call of Cthulhu, any type of role-playing game, really. Just how to be a better game master. Because while there's a lot that I know, there's a lot that I don't know. And there's a lot that I'm sure you know better than I do. That said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget to keep on role-playing.